we also could look at the times of prayer. So in the Quran, it refers to 4 prayer times: evening, morning, afternoon, and noon. But in Islamic practice, we have 5 prayer times. Now, it just so happens, maybe it's just a crazy coincidence, but the exact same prayer times in Zoroastrianism exists in Islam. As you can see, they have different names, but they are the same times and 5 times during the day. The only minor difference is instead of a call to prayer, there's a bell rung in Zoroastrianism. Another similarity is the fact that Zoroastrians wash their head and their face and limbs before they go to pray. So that's another telltale sign. In terms of the prayers, well, the prayers have to be said in a certain language. So obviously it's Arabic in Islam, but in Zoroastrianism, they pray them in Avesta. And then there's the holiest spot. Well, the holy spot in a mosque is the wall facing Mecca and is called the Qibla. In the Aguri, the room where the Atash Padshah is enthroned, is also called the Qibla, very similar. A Muslim will perform the Sajjah in front of the Qibla, and so also will the Zoroastrian perform the Sajda before his Qibla. Both involve kneeling down and touching the forehead to the ground. So very similar indeed. And then there's a holy month in both cases. In Islam, it's Ramadan. In Zoroastrianism, it's Bahman. And in that situation, they abstain from flesh. In both religions, there's a reference to the Chinvat bridge, which is a mythical bridge that a person crosses to enter heaven.
Sirat al-Mustaqim in the Quran, yeah.
And demons guard the foot of the bridge and argue with the gods over the soul's fate and so forth. And of course, another big one is the fact that the jinn seems to have come from Zoroastrianism. Their Zoroastrian origin is given away by the fact that they're said to have been made of smokeless fire. Now, obviously, with the fire temples and so on, with Zoroastrianism, it's a big focus to their religion. There is obviously some dispute about the direct origin of it. Did it come from Aramaic? Did it come from Persian? I would argue, considering all of the mythologies around the jinn found in Persia, I would think that the predominant influence comes directly from the Persians. Okay, and the jinn, just to point out, are kind of like an ambiguous being. They are kind of both good and bad, but essentially they're demons. And so that's that. I'm going to hand it back to you.
Wonderful. I mean, again, it's fascinating, really, when you see stuff like this happening. It's very clear, Jay, that you cannot escape from the mere fact that a religion like Zoroastrianism, that it pre-existed before Islam, has many practices that it's obvious. It's been borrowed. It's been borrowed.
Fascinating that because you're bringing up a lot of antecedents. When you look at the Quran, you can see that the Quran only has 3 prayers: the morning, noon, and night. Where do you get the other 2 prayers? We've always questioned this. Well, Mel, you seem to have come on it because that's so specific that you have 3 prayers at night in Zoroastrianism. I don't know of any other place that has 3 prayers at night, and yet you found it here. Great stuff, because that supports exactly what we've been asking. We've been doing a lot of series here in the studio and looking at the sources and looking at the antecedents. We've been asking this question. When you are trying to put a book together, you've got to borrow from many other sources. This case, you're talking not only the book itself, but you're talking about the practices. The prayers, 3 in the evening, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the morning, are not in the Quran. It looks like these have been added because we don't even hear about these 5 prayers until al-Bukhari in the 9th century. Well, where do you think al-Bukhari was living? And where do you think he did all his work? There in Baghdad. Where do you think Zoroastrianism had its greatest input? There up in that area, what is today Iraq. Well done, Mel. Looks like you've really hit onto something on this point.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Mel. And next time, I think we are going to talk about the Burak, I believe.
That's right, yeah.
Very good. Very good. We are going to talk about this mythical, animal that has wings. That
Miraj, taking him up, why the Burak up from
the Isra and the Mi'raj
Mecca to Jerusalem.
as well. Yeah, looking forward to what you will be sharing with us. Again, thank you everyone for joining us here. This is a new series that we've been doing. It's a short series, intentionally. We want to give you the gist of it. Hopefully, me and Mel, and maybe even me and Mel and Jay, will do a live stream, also panel discussion, to expand further on this, and maybe expand on it later by way of recorded shows like this. Of course, the series is called Exposing the Myth. And next time, we will deal with yet another myth that Islam obviously has borrowed from somewhere, possibly from the Zoroastrian religion itself. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Jay. And everyone, thank you. Until next time, have a blessed day.